Hello and welcome back to An Unpolished Earthling. Today we are continuing on with our manifesto, Gaia United, a pragmatic path to a healthy future. In this episode, we'll be looking at part 2, which contains 5 parts: a stepping stone website, promotion, Earth Awaken, the core of the future, the carrot, and the stick. In this episode, we'll be looking at the first 3 of these, although we will briefly discuss the carrot because it does relate to this section here. So, first part, a stepping stone website. The very first step was to create the plan and write it down. Accomplished. The next step is to expose it to the world. The cheapest, fastest, and most effective way to get this going is to cast it out to the internet and let the international community take a look at it. Now, that's not as easy and effective as I would like. Just because you put something online doesn't mean everyone's going to have a look at it. Now, building a first website to host this manifesto is easy. Once the website is up, it will serve a few purposes. This was not as easy as I would have thought, and I was not able to achieve this at the time when I was working on it. How it should have been is, this will make the manifesto readily available to the world. Second, using a Wikipedia style, the website will enable anyone to make comments on and suggest edits for the manifesto. As changes are made, a history of each change and the reasons for it will be recorded so that we can all see how and why the document has changed. This allows the plan to be fine-tuned in its early stages. That is more complex than a simple Wix or Squarespace website was able to do in the time, and I am not a web designer or programmer and wasn't able to do that for myself and haven't yet been able to afford to pay someone to build this thing for me. Third, the website will connect people to work together on the plan, which again wasn't able to achieve at the time, although there are more platforms that would allow us to work together today than 10 years ago, so this is getting easier. This is very important as the plan is global in scale and should thus have participation from people all around the world. Using the internet is the only reasonable way to organize such an effort. And fourth, the website will be able to accept donations to support the project, which I wish I had up now, but it's not my priority. First step is to get the idea out there, and then we'll go on to the next phases. Now, this website should cost less than $1,000. Not so sure about that anymore, as the idea is pretty complicated, and I'll need some professional help there. And it will have minimal graphic content, which again, I don't know if that's doable these days. I'm not sure if people will want to have a look if it doesn't look shiny. And it'll host some advertisement related to eco-friendly and social justice efforts. It will also emphasize a link to the central website, Earth Awaken, which may not be called that. I'm not great at coming up with names, and I don't really care what the names of these things are. And once everyone is able to work together and put in their input, the name can be something different. Next section is promotion. Now, promotion is perhaps the most important part of the plan, as it's the key to the success of every part of the plan. The purpose of promotion is to raise awareness about the project and entertain, inspire, and educate the public. Though it's treated as one part, it's in fact made up of many smaller projects that all fall under the umbrella of promotion. Anything anyone thinks up that will spread awareness of the project and its core values will be considered a part of promotion. As such, the description here is but a guideline. Some mediums for promotion would be newspapers, magazine, radio, TV, movies, websites, events, plays, and speeches, and each sub-project would be treated as an independent endeavor. So I'm just going to ad-lib this here. Essentially, if you're a musician and you make a piece of music that inspires people to want a healthy world or to live together or respect one another, then you're helping whether you know it or not, and you don't have to pay any money to this project. And unfortunately, this project at the moment doesn't have any money to support you either, but we definitely will benefit from that message being spread. If you would like to make movies and you're doing a science fiction movie, you could make it take place in a world where this kind of society is the background. This is where it happens. The movie doesn't have to be about this idea. You don't have to name this project or promote it directly. But if you're helping people understand and imagine what life could be like in this sort of a system, that helps tremendously. Then there's also the carrot, which we're not going into great detail here, but it's the idea of building a city that could showcase the technologies that we have available to show people that a high-tech and ecologically sustainable city is actually more desirable than some of the shiniest modern cities that we have in the world today. And that should help people want the change. And of course, in building that city, you would have a lot of advertising and promotion, as well as like documentaries on how it's made and reality shows on what life might be like in such a city. and that promotion would be ongoing long before the city ever breaks ground and is built. And whether or not the city is built, that kind of promotion could still give this project as a whole enough of a push to help it succeed. Again, the point of all of this is not to build one city, but to create a system within which everyone in the world can create their own lifestyle that would be sustainable. And it's not that you have to have a high-tech eco-city to do that, but if you do want a high-tech lifestyle, a eco-city built from scratch is probably what you're going to need. Next part is Earth Awaken, the core of the future. And that's just a placeholder name, as I said before. The core of this whole plan is the global direct democracy. To facilitate this, we need a powerful website and universal internet access. The website will require around $1 million, total ballpark estimate. Again, I'm not a programmer or a designer, and I don't know exactly how much it will cost. But the real challenge is not just the website, but universal access to the internet, which we estimated earlier in the manifesto at around $1 trillion, and that may become cheaper in the future, but I don't think that's a totally unreasonable number. Now, the first website we were talking about is just a stepping stone website, and again, I don't have a particular name for it, but it would be something where people who want to work on making this real can come together to do that work, where we can edit the manifesto, where we can start building the website that could actually handle the vision we're talking about. I mean, imagine Second Life meets Google Earth with 7 billion people inputting their preferences in real time, and that's actively being transformed into a 3D vision of what the planet could look like, with every compromise that's needed made into it, as well as making a step-by-step plan from that vision we created of how to get there from where we are today. That's a ton of work, huge amount of computing power. I think it's bigger and more complex than anything we've ever done as a species before, but I do believe that every little piece of that huge puzzle is something that we are able to do now. So this first website would be to organize the effort to create that much bigger, more complicated website. But it needs to combine not only all of our votes and that 3D sort of imagined generation of what the future would look like, but it also needs an up-to-date real-world account of where we are, how things are going, what's the albedo of the planet, what's the ocean level, what's the temperature, where's the pollution at, what's our biocapacity, all of that stuff needs to be in here as well. So surveying the Earth will be done through cooperation with local and national agencies around the world, as well as with satellite data. The compilation of all votes is not difficult except for the sheer volume of votes, requiring large servers, but nothing too challenging. The projection of the result, which would require something along the lines of a hybrid between Google Earth and Second Life. And this last aspect is the most expensive part of the project, as it would take many hours of well-paid graphic design and computer programming to put together. Not to mention all the other engineers and experts and things like that would have to participate. Once complete, the website will allow everyone to become a member, create and update their preferences and priorities, and see the result of the current consensus, read and comment on the manifesto, and communicate with any and all of the other members. Like the first website, there will be a wiki-style comment and editing capacity built into this website so that it may grow to better reflect the wishes of humanity. Also, like the first website, this one will host advertising to like-minded endeavors and will accept donations to the cause, most of which will go towards providing universal internet access. Okay, and then just a note on the wiki-style comment and editing, what I was thinking, so not exactly like Wikipedia, but imagine you saw this page and you didn't like this one sentence. You would tag it and say, I don't like it, and then you could say what you think it should be, and you post that suggested change. Then we have to have a time period we agree on, could be a week or a month. The shorter the time period, the faster the change is made, but the less democratic the changes are. So if it was every day, you would say, okay, of everyone who looked at this page, did they vote to make that change or not make that change? And if the majority of us agree with that change, then at the end of that day, the change is made and that change is logged. So if the next day you go back and you notice the change, you can say, hey, is this different? Yes, I can see the log. You can see what changed and why it changed. Now, if we made that update every month, it would mean that more people would have a chance to look at it and see if they agree, and that adjustment would be more accurate, but it would also mean that nothing would change for a month. So finding that balance of scale and time would be good, but I do like the idea of us being able to constantly update and change the document in that way. And okay, that's it for that clip. Right. And thank you very much.